Good morning, students. Today I'm going to show you how we can round to the nearest 10 or hundreds place value. Now, the first thing you're going to do is that you are going to go into the Nearpod, the math Nearpod, you're going to write your name, and you're going to begin your lesson. Now, when you click the arrows to the side, you're going to get a video. Okay, and you're going to watch that video. You're going to press play, and after you press play, then you are going to um, close this window, and then you're going to go to the next problem. Okay, and I'm going to expand the sheet, and I'm going to empty out. Yes, because I want to show you how I actually work this problem step by step. So let's begin. Julie bought 449 flowers for her birthday party. About how many flowers does she have? So let's think. She had 449 flowers. Okay, that's what the problem said. So, and you could bring down the problem back by pressing this blue arrow in the corner. So, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to look at our place values. So, I know that there's a 4 in the hundreds place. There's also a 4 digit in the tens place. And I see that there is a 9 digit in the ones place. Now, the question doesn't tell me if I'm rounding to the nearest 100 or the nearest 10. So I'm going to think, what is going to be easiest for me to figure out? And I think that counting my hundreds is just faster for me to get a rounded number. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to look at my number, and I could tell that in the hundreds, I have a four digit, and that represents 400. So my first benchmark number is going to be 400. So I'm going to go, and the way I can put in the numbers in my number line is that I can type in the number using the text box at the bottom, and then I can resize it by dragging the blue little button all the way to the top, and I could move it by the arrow buttons. So I can actually put 400 in my number line. Okay. Then I know that my next benchmark number is going to be the next hundredths place. So the next hundredths place, if I'm counting by hundreds, is going to be 500. So again, I'm going to go to my text box. I'm going to type 500. I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the end of my line. Once I have my benchmark numbers, now I can count by tens to get to 500. So again, I'm going to go to my text box, and I'm going to actually be doing this in a different color. I'm going to do it in dark blue. So I can start 410. Again, the same. I'm going to make it smaller and drag it and put it under the tally mark. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep counting 420. I'm going to close it. And again, I'm going to drag it to the tally mark. Then I'm going to do another text box, and I'm going to do 430. I'm going to try to go a little faster. Now this one I can make the box a little smaller to get the number in, right? All right. 440. 450. 460. 470. 480. and 490. Then I have 500. So I have my number line with my two benchmarks and all my numbers counting by 10. Now I'm going to go back to my problem, again, touching the blue arrow down, and I'm noticing that my number is 449. So I have to put that on my number line so I know where it is located. So for me to do that, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make my pencil thin because I want to make thin lines. And I'm going to use the color red so I can define that this is numbers. So 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. So I know that my 449 is right around here. So again, I'm going to take my text box and I'm going to write my number 449. I'm going to drag it to where I believe it is located. So I know that it's located. Then I'm going to actually put a little marker to indicate with my pencil. Okay, so I'm going to click on the pencil and I'm going to make a little marker to indicate that this is where 449 is. So now I know as a mathematician that any number that is past 450 belongs to the next hundreds place. Okay? Well, I could see that 449 is not past 450. So now I can say that 449 rounds to 400. Okay? So now I can actually answer the question. And I could say, okay, and I could drag my text box down so I can write in my response. And the character's name is Julie, the person's name. So Julie had about 400 flowers on her birthday. Okay. And now, students, I can also, now that I have this number line, it's so easy for me to round to the next place value, which is the tens. Because remember, the problem didn't tell us whether we should round to the hundreds or whether we should round to the tens. So if I wanted to round to the tens, I can also look at this number in the tens digits. I'm going to get my pencil again, so I know that I'm using my pencil. And now I'm going to look at this place value. And this place value tells me that 449 rounded to the nearest 10, which I'm going to use another color. I love colors to show my thinking. So I know that to the nearest 10 is going to be, it's closer. Whoop. If I'm looking at my tens benchmark, which is 440, and I'm going to mark it with dots here. So this is my tens place value benchmark. So I'm looking in between these two numbers. So now in between these two numbers, I can tell that the number 449, which is right here, is closer to 450. So now I can say, I can also say that Julie had about 450 flowers on her birthday. So now I rounded to the nearest 100 and the nearest 10. And I'm actually going to put a little mark, and this, you guys do not have to do this. I'm doing this for you guys so you guys know. This would be rounding to the nearest 100. I could always make this bigger so you guys will see. Ooh, my R is small, but that's okay. Okay. And then I could also say rounding, put it, rounding to the nearest 10. So this is rounding to the nearest 100, and this is rounding to the nearest 10. Now that I have completed all my work and I've shown all my thinking, remember, you have to hit submit to submit your work. Remember, guys, you have all the tools here that you need to make your number line. All right? And again, do not forget to hit submit because then your work will not be sent to me. Okay? So you hit submit. Once you hit submit, you don't even have to hit the arrows. It just automatically goes to the next problem, which this is the problem that you're going to be working on today on your own and practicing the tools. But remember, once you finish, do not forget to hit submit. Have a great day, mathematicians.